Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on Time Sports Talk. I am Casey. Schedule the bald and the beautiful across from me or next to me on the screen. Eddie, the original schedule. Say hi to the folks.
Hi, folks.
All right. Well, that was a long hello. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we start every show. The joke for the people, for our number one fan who said we are supposed to be funny. So we're going to try to be funny. Go ahead, hit us with it.
No, it's faster. Hot or cold? What is fast? Hot or cold?
I don't have an answer to that.
Hot, because you can catch a cold. Boom, boom. And then a bonus, what's brown and sounds like a bell?
What I did in the bathroom earlier.
That is right. There you go.
All right, folks. That's why we're not trying to be comedians for a career. All right, we got a jam-packed show here. We got NFL Week 13 to cover, going all the way back to Thanksgiving. So I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. And it was a pretty good day for us and the family, and seeing the Cowboys win a second game in a row, which is not a common feat these days. We also got to talk Cowboys. We got an interview with Jerry Jones, talk Dallas Mavericks. J Kidd is back this week to give his take on the 9-1 in their last 10 Dallas Mavericks. Got college football rankings and reactions and kind of what happened this past week. And then our picks at the end for this week coming up for the NFL. Maybe you should use us to bet on your games because we both went 4-1 last week. So good job there, old man. Good job.
Which one did I miss?
You picked the Ravens.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Eagles whooped that ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't want to. Yeah, they did. All right, but we're going to start off with something we normally don't talk about. And it's been a hot subject these last couple of weeks. San Jose State volleyball. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, they got a trans dude on there playing women's sports. Bunch of teams throughout the season forfeited games, I think rightfully so. And the team in the semifinals forfeited the game as well. And then San Jose State gets to go to the championship game in their conference. This was about to be disaster for the NCAA. It really was. Because if they would have made the NCAA volleyball tournament, you're going to put every one of those teams in that dilemma. And what I would have said to all the women standing up for women's sports and real Title IX is all of them should have forfeited and let them have the championship. Because then you would have made a statement.
Yeah, this is, to me, it's we've said this many times, it's the death of common sense. Look, I don't care, who you sleep with, what your sexual orientation is, any of that stuff. But when it comes to physical ability, it comes down to two X chromosomes or an XY chromosome. If that's what separates you, whether you have muscles and you're just stronger. And it's just common sense. And I wish we would just get back to having common sense. Now, what is the answer? I think that, in my opinion, is if you were born a certain way, and I know you may feel different, you may have, and I only believe that happens once you're an adult, that you can make that decision. But my thing is, it creates an unfair advantage, and it's troubling that we are in this place now that someone who is full on male and basically and I mean, and I'll go back to the swimmer. I don't even want to mention the fact that played the sport and swimming, was terrible at it, was 300 or something in ranking in college, and then decides to compete as a woman. And the next thing you know, he's breaking all their records. It's not fair to me, to women. And they work all their lives. And we saw it in the Olympics. We saw people and these ladies have worked their whole life to get there. And then all of a sudden, because of let's be understanding, or what, it's not understanding watching a woman getting her face beat in, to me, by a man. Or the same thing in volleyball. A man can hit the ball a lot harder. And we've seen it. There's been concussions in volleyball. Concussions. So to me, it's just, we need to get back to common sense. So you've got to stay in your lane, so to speak. What you do as far as your personal life and all that stuff, that's on you. But when you start hurting people, because that's what's happening, it's hurting women and ladies, it's hurting their sport. And that to me is what the issue is. It's not that, it's being transphobic or whatever. That's not what it is. You can be that way. Go ahead, live your life. But to take it to that level and to hurt it and really hurt somebody, and it happened. And it happened in the college volleyball too. I mean, it's just, they're stronger. It's just science. I mean, it's chromosomes. I mean, you can't, just common sense.
Right. It's bigger, faster, stronger. And that's not a knock on women by any means. Don't get me wrong. There's some badass women out there who do some amazing things that can keep up with guys, but on the whole scale, it's really not. It's not an even playing field. It's bone density. It's shoulder size. It's muscle mass just naturally. And you mentioned the comeback to common sense. You're starting to see that. The LPGA just passed. If you made the transition or you want to play as a female after you've already went through male puberty, you can't do it. They outlawed it. The Olympics went that way. I think the other part of this, and Riley Gaines, who was really the first mainstream person to speak out, who competed against that swimmer you're talking about, it's also the invasion of the private spaces. And did anyone talk to the women? Do they feel comfortable having individuals in there that are, feeling this type of way about themselves? And, on the mass scale, I mean, you had one of the San Jose State coaches file a Title IX lawsuit and did not support this, and they fired her because she stood up for what she thought was right. And so I think, and you said the swing back to common sports, or common sense, I should say, I think it's happening. I think we're kind of past that experiment stage where, okay, let's try this or let's see how it goes. It's not a competitive level that they're competing.
And that to me is the key. It's not that someone is hating on someone because of the way they are. That's not what it is. It's an unfair advantage. And it's just, it's that to me, it's what it boils down to. It'd be like,
look at male and female athletes at, I don't care what level it is. Look at the top level. Let's look at sprinters. Who has the fastest times naturally? It's the men. Doesn't mean they're better. Doesn't mean they work harder. None of that is like that. But you can look at, golfers. Look how much farther men hit the golf ball than women because of how they can torque the club and get the head speed up. It's one of those things. There's just a natural component to it, and that's okay. You just gotta ultimately accept it when it comes to competitiveness in athletics, because you saw it with the swimmer example, to where you as a dude, like, you don't see any, like, this has kind of been a joke or been talked about, but LeBron is almost 40 years old. And if he all of a sudden said, I'm a woman and goes to the WNBA, he could probably play 20 more years and dominate because it's a different game. He is 6'8", 260. And, I'll give you kind of a smaller example.
He would be an ugly woman too. And he would be an ugly woman.
The wanna man. All right. Sit here and you go through this, and like our girls varsity basketball programs in every school I've been a coach at, they don't scrimmage the boys varsity. You want to know why? Because they get annihilated. They scrimmage the boys freshman B or A team because that's the competitive difference in the size and the speed. And when I was coaching freshman A, we would beat the varsity girls all the time. And that is a varsity sport versus a freshman team. So kind of the last example, you saw the U.S. women's national team get beat by a bunch of 15-year-old boys. Like it wasn't even close. Like it's in the proof is in the pudding and the science, and ultimately the natural processes of being a human being. And I do think the common sense is swinging back, I guess, to where it was when we both grew up.
So how many girls need to get hurt in his fight days before they finally?
I agree with you. What you do in your personal life, that's on you. Like I'm not going to tell anyone who to love, how to love, how you view yourself, whatever. Just, you do you, I'll do me. And I'm not, just keep it out of athletics, keep it away from kids, all that stuff. So, all right, well, let's get back to our normal programming. That's just kind of a societal sports story. NFL week 13. All right, let's start a week ago tonight. That first game, Lions and Bears, got a coach fired.
It was just, I don't understand. I guess maybe at that level, you get caught up in the moment and maybe you're relying on your assistant coaches, whatever. But the fact is the crappy time management of in the play calling, to me, it was astounding.
Crappy would have been an improvement.
Yeah,
that was atrocious.
Yeah, it was. They had a chance to win that game. They could have won that game if they had a coach who knew how to handle the clock.
So here's my question to you. Caleb Williams, rookie quarterback, been playing football all his life, not new to the game, didn't just pick it up last week. Do you put any responsibility on him on that situation? Because he could have called the timeout too.
But all of that stems from the culture. That stems from the coaching culture of not knowing that maybe he thinks he can't make that decision because he's new. And it depends on the culture. To me, it always comes to, it doesn't matter in the Navy, if the navigation officer runs the ship aground, who gets fired? Not the navigation officer, the captain. Because the captain of the ship runs the show. And ultimately, whether he was depending on assistant coaches, he was depending on his quarter, whatever he was doing, it didn't work. And it was literally
work.
So, I hate to see somebody lose their job, but that was just,
I really don't get it. You get to the top of your profession, the NFL, you get paid millions of dollars and you make those decisions. Like you're not some 8th grade B team football coach who's just out of college for 2 or 3 years, or maybe even not that long, in a game no one cares about. You are at the top of the profession, which means you have all the answers to the test and you didn't implement the answers for the test. I don't get it when coaches mismanage this so bad. Like it's one thing when you're young in your coaching career. I've been there. I've not called a timeout when I should have at Hearst Junior High 5 or 9 years ago, and it still bugs me when we were playing Harwood Junior High. All right, because I didn't call a timeout after May bucket clock ran out and I cost my team an opportunity to go down and score. I still steam about it. I don't understand how you get to the top of your profession and you still can't manage the clock because you've been through all those battles in those wars. That's why you're there. You're fucking 32, one of 32, and you can't manage the clock. I feel sorry for Bears fans. I really do.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's
get off.
Kind of ridiculous.
Let's not wrestle with Bears anymore. Let's talk
about the negative things.
Yeah, let's talk about the Giants. Just kidding. Moving on. We know they're tanking. Packers stomped the Dolphins in cold weather. I saw that coming. That was one of my picks. Packers are an interesting enigma. Like Jordan Love looks like he's regressed a little bit, but they're still being somewhat successful this year. He doesn't look like the same quarterback he was last year. And your MVP, Patrick Mahomes, the guy you're advocating for, they win 19-17, barely scraped by again. So go ahead.
Well, but win is a win. This is college football. See, and that's what gets me. There's no rankings here. There are just records. And a win is a win is a win is a freaking win. And so as long as you win the game, you play to win the game.
Okay, Herman.
That's what you do. That's what you do. So bottom line is they are, Mahomes finds with. Huh?
It was the Raiders, and you won by 2? Come on, man. He's not the MVP no more. You want to know who the MVP is?
Do they play in the same conference?
Yes, they're in the same division.
Look, you're used to the NFC East. If the Cowboys are 1-10, and the Redskins or Commanders, I'm calling them Redskins again because they're fixing to change the name back. Thank God, because Commanders is the stupidest name in the freaking history of freaking football. Besides maybe Seagulls, maybe they should have called them the Gulls.
Is the original talking or Sir George talking?
I don't know, but the bottom line is it doesn't matter what your record is when you're playing your in-conference rival. It does not matter.
I get what you're saying, but you're the Chiefs with your MVP, and you're barely beating teams. It doesn't bode well for playoff success. You're barely getting.
Here's the thing, though. They can barely win all the way to the Super Bowl, and they barely win the Super Bowl. But at the end of the day, they're going to win it.
They're not winning the Super Bowl. I'm calling it now.
Oh, here we go. Here we go with Josh. I love Josh. Josh is my MVP.
He is the MVP.
I love Josh.
Listen, that man had a rushing touchdown, 2 passing touchdowns, and a receiving touchdown in the last game. Did you know that?
He's also a cheater.
He's a
cheater. Did you see what he did? Did you see what he's been doing? He's making sliding, which we're going to get to the Texans and Chargers, but he's faking sliding, which came out this week because of the whole incident with Trevor Lawrence and Hughes. And I call him that way because it was a dirty hit, in my opinion. I don't care what anybody else says. But the bottom line is you've got Josh Allen is faking. He will run the ball and then act like he's going to slide in. The defenders, I saw it, I forget who they were playing. There was a game before this one, he did it. And they froze because they know they can't jump on. To me, right now,
Patrick Mahomes has done it before.
Yeah, you show me where it is. I got video evidence of Josh, but you show me where Patrick Mahomes.
So you mad at him for taking advantage of a loophole or a play?
I'm just saying, Josh is going to get beat in the playoffs because he's going to
the Chiefs in the playoffs.
Okay, all right. I can't wait to pick. I can't wait for our show after that because he's gonna take you going to the promised land, and then. It's the Bills. Without the Bills, and finish the job.
You can say that about a lot of teams in the NFL, but those teams on Josh Allen.
You're going to say Josh Allen's better than Jim Kelly?
I didn't say that.
Oh, well, see,
Words in my mouth.
here we go. Though Jim Kelly took him to 4 Super Bowls, not just 4 Super Bowls, 4 Super Bowls in a row.
Yes,
Now
and they lost the better team.
They lost. And
Twice
I do not think the Redskins Commanders were better than them when they played them. It's funny they lost all NFC East teams, but that's kind of funny to me. But okay.
Look, Josh Allen's the MVP. You cannot like him. You can say, "Oh, he's cheating," even though that's perfectly legal to do. Okay, you said they weren't going to make the playoffs. They're 10-2. You said without Stephon Diggs,
I
they
never
couldn't
said
do
they
it.
wouldn't make the playoffs. I said they'll get knocked out in the first or second round, is what I said.
Get out here. You said that they weren't going to do it. You said that Josh Allen couldn't play at this level because he didn't have a number 1 receiver. He still doesn't have a number 1 receiver. Amari's good, but he's not a number 1. All right? Anymore. I'll say that. So you said without
who are you going to take over Amari? That isn't who are you going to take?
I would take Diggs over Amari. I would take CeeDee Lamb over Amari. I would take Justin Jefferson over Amari. I'd take Jamar Chase over.
How far back does Amari go in your receiver line?
I mean, it's probably around 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Larry Cooper.
Yeah, well, I'll create my list for next. We'll do this.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at Amari Cooper's one of the best route runners there are, and not only that, he also is a team player. You know, the only reason Josh got 2 rushing touchdowns is because Amari flipped him the ball.
That was that. Yeah. Yeah.
He should get an assist. They should get an assist. There should be an assist in football.
Well, wouldn't every passing touchdown be an assist?
Possibly.
All right. Yeah. All right. It was speaking of the NFC East, Eagles beat the Ravens. You swore up and down Ravens are going to take care of business. You're wrong again. Eagles are looking good, and I hate to admit that. I really do. I don't want to admit it.
Well, you know, I was wrong again, but they didn't win by a lot. But the Eagles have something they've never had before, or at least in a long ass time. They have a running game, a damn good running game. And that helps Mr. Hurts play a little bit better. Because when it's all on him, he will throw interceptions and just, it's all on him. It's the same problem Dak had. Dak needs a good running game when he's playing. But then he looks like a superstar. So that's the same way with Hurts. But, you know, it's the Eagles, and we'll see. But, you know, I was surprised that they beat the Ravens, especially at home. But that's always been kind of the knock on Lamar, is that sometimes he just does not play like Lamar.
I mean, at the end of the day, both Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Herbert in Los Angeles, they all got to go through Kansas City. And I get, you know, Mahomes is the road to the Super Bowl goes through Kansas City. So, you know, that's just a simple fact. So you got to knock the big dog off the pedestal, even though I think that is going to happen this year. All right, last little week 13, man, Bo Nix.
So we're going to talk about Bo Nix, but we're going to need to get to who we think our Super Bowl pick is. I don't think it's going to be Kansas City that's going to win it, even though I think Mahomes will win MVP. So
Josh Allen's MVP, and they're going to win the Super Bowl.
No, there's a little team, little engine that could, but everybody continues to disrespect And well, actually, there's two of them in the NFC North. One is called the Lions, and the other one is called the Vikings. But I think the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl this year. So,
All right, well, that'll be another segment for later in the season once we get to. But yeah, Bo Nix, I think he's the rookie of the year right now.
absolutely,
He looked incredible
no argument. Crazy what a good coach quarterback combination will do.
Well, what's really insane is that they're in cap hell right now in Denver because of the Russell Wilson trade, and it just shows you like get the guy you think you need to get. You got to have the nutsack to make the move. So if the Cowboys crap the bed and end up with a top 5 pick, and there's Shador Sanders, and you think that's the guy. You gotta have the nutsack to trade Dak or get rid of, or at least sit him.
Mentioning a lot of nutsacks, man. I'm not sure where you're going with that, but okay.
Who knows? It might be a precursor to Coach J Kidd.
Okay.
But all right, let's switch gears. College football.
Yeah.
You got some loud noise happening over there, by the way.
Oh, I don't know what that is. It's you said college football, and all the Aggies here moaned, I guess. But
yes, let's start there. Aggies did what I thought was unthinkable, unfathomable, implausible, and that's lose.
Yeah, I thought we played a good game. I think, but the problem is we talked about coaching with Chicago Bears. Texas A&M really needs to go back and look at how they handle situations. How many times Moss was injured, and when you had Moss in there, yes, you could run up the middle. Moss was your steam engine that could run up the middle. But good God, how many times are you going to run the same damn play straight up the middle on a 4th down? Run it to the outside against Texas line. Now, I don't like Texas because I'm an Aggie, built into my blood or whatever, but I'm going to tell you, Texas's defensive line, they are beasts. They are some big sons of bitches. And you are not going to move them out the way in most cases. And I was just like, run to the outside. Go around the outside. Trailer park girls go around the outside, round the outside. Go to the outside. Run an option. You got chicken legs, Reed. He can run fast. Go to the outside. But no, what did they do? Once, twice on flat downs. And they could have took the field goal in the first drive. Take the field goal, get your 3 points. Now put Texas under pressure. When they got that, you gave Texas all the momentum. And I tell you what, Mr. Momentum never left that address during that whole game. And it started from the very get-go.
It was a very competitive game. the Aggies held their own for much of it. I do think the first touchdown was a huge turning point for Texas. And we disagree a little bit on this point. I think Texas not only going into Kyle Field beating A&M for the first time in 13 years or 11 years or whatever it was. Obviously that stings enough, but Texas's first year in the SEC, and they're already in the SEC championship game. The Aggies have never been in the SEC championship game, and it was always like, we're in the big conference now, and it's not a good look. Like if you legitimately look at the conference championship game, for all intents and purposes, Texas is a Big 12 team. This is the first year out of the Big 12. They're a Big 12 team. Okay, about to win the SEC. You have an American Conference team in SMU playing for the ACC championship. You have a Pac-12 team that's undefeated, ranked number 1 in the country, about to win the Big 10. So don't give me all this stuff about all these conferences are better and SEC and Big 10. These teams came in and railroaded your conferences. And it's kind of hilarious. Arizona State.
What other team? What other team did besides Texas?
I'm talking at the top level. Every single championship game has a team from one of the previous conferences. Arizona State's playing for the Big 12 championship. They're a Pac-12 team. So, you go down the list of SEC teams of Bama, Auburn, LSU, A&M, and, South Carolina SEC, South Carolina, and obviously Georgia's at the top there as well. But you just had a Big 12 team join the conference, and they were going to win the conference.
How was Texas ranked last year?
Not in the top 5.
They were still pretty good.
They were good. They were building.
Yeah. And so all that came together. What I will say in A&M's defense, because I am a homer, and you're not yet, which you should be, is that we had a true freshman quarterback that had to take over for someone who was supposed to be really good. And I hope he gets his head together or whatever.
Well, he's leaving.
But we also had a first-year coach who took over a team, if I'm not mistaken, didn't even make a bowl game the year before. So everybody can bag on the Aggies or whatever. Nobody knew this coach's name. They said they hired who? He did a pretty damn good job this year. Pretty damn good job. And I think the future is bright because Reed will be now, he's got a year under his belt. He's already played well as a freshman. They've got some players coming in.
I'm not going to argue that the Aggies' future looks bright. I'm not going to argue that. By the way, Texas lost in the first round of the college football playoffs last year to Washington and went 12-2 or 11-2. So, I mean, yeah, they're pretty damn good last year. But, I think Texas is going to be even better with Penny. So, that's the scary part. But also around the rest, I kind of already mentioned the conference championship games. But the big story after last week, you had a bunch of rivalry games. There was fights there, brawls there, people planting flags. Do you think they should fine outlaw all that stuff?
Yes, they should. And the reason it should be a fine, it should be a suspension, is because it causes these brawls. And you can't have it. And it's you just won the game. Enjoy the fact that you won the game. If you're at home and your students want to run the field and tear down the goalpost and all that bullshit, then that's fine. But if you're playing someone else, and I will say this for the Texas coach, he came out there and got his players off the logo of the Aggies. Because it just causes, there's already that tension, right? Because if you're playing your rival. So to do that, it's just, it's basically stomping on someone who's already down. And it is just, I always say this, learn to win humbly. Learn to be humble in winning. And that's why I prefer the Amari Coopers and the Barry Sanders of the world. Because they just do their job, hand the football back to the referee, and are known as some of the greatest players ever. You never saw Jerry Rice do any crap like that. One of the best ever. And so as far as the team, yes, it needs to be restricted and get rid of it. It's the same thing as taunting someone. If there's a rule against it.
Well, I mean, dude, I think here's where I think you got to go with it. All those games are built on emotion. So if you're trying to temper, that's probably not the best route to go. But these guys are making a lot of money now. They're not amateur athletes anymore. And when these big schools and big conferences finally get together, maybe in conjunction with the NCAA, you can be fined, and you have to pay that fine before you can play the next game. Like, those are the type of steps that it would take if you're taking bread out of their bank account. NIL or transfer right now is insane. Like, that's a whole nother segment for a whole nother day. But a lot of these football players making a lot of money. You find them 20 grand for instigating a, rivalry brawl. I bet you they're not going to do it again. And probably some alumni is going to pay the 20 grand anyway, but at least it's there and there's a governing body to try to enforce it. But until that's agreed upon, you're not going to stop this. And I do give credit, just like you did with Coach Sark at Texas. And he talked about in his press conference, win with class. And there's a certain way they want to go about it. So as much as, you say I need to be a homer, credit is due where credit is due. And, Coach Sark is a class act. He's a good dude. I think he's actually teaching the Texas players the right things to be successful. And I think that's why they're at where they're at. And I do think A&M has a coach to do that now. It obviously wasn't Jimbo, paid $70 million to get his ass out of there. And so ultimately it's going to be a really fun next 2 or 3 years, the A&M Aggie rivalry. And it's going to be interesting to see how these rankings shake out after these conference championships. Iowa State and Arizona State, one of those are going to fall off. I think, it's Oregon and Penn State. Penn State's probably going to still be in the playoff, even if they lose, being ranked 3. Georgia and Texas both will be in the playoff. SMU playing Clemson, and that's a hell of a story. But the loser of that game is probably falling out of the top 12 as well. But SMU coming into the ACC playing for the championship game is pretty incredible in itself. But all righty, let's talk Mavs before we get to Cowboys. Switch it up. Let's go NBA. So
Okay.
Mavs are 14-8 now. Haven't lost a game since we last talked. And you were kind of talking some smack on the Mavs being barely over 500. They're third in the West now. What you got to say? Matter of fact, while you talk to the people, I'm going to go get their coach.
Oh, boy. Well, what I'm going to say is Houston, the Rockets have moved into second place. So he can talk all smack he wants about Dallas. But how about those Rockets who no one was picking to be this good. And so I'm just really thinking that the Rockets are going to give everybody a run for their money because they weren't expected to. And okay, well, so let me just, this is not a drill. Yeah, no, it's a hammer. So, like that guy on the commercials. You ever watch those commercials there, Mr. Kid? About Jay Adler, the hammer, Texas hammer?
I don't know why Texas would need a hammer. They're a state, and I don't think they really do that.
It's a metaphor. It's just a metaphor. So you know what that is, right?
They fall from the sky and from out.
Actually, that's a meteor.
Okay.
Yeah, a metaphor, if it fell from the sky, it would be like a bull falling on your head. Like for some reason, it'd be like you'd be all beefed up. Get it? Bull falling on your head, all beefed up. That's a funny one there, Coach. All right, Coach. Your team has moved into third place, but you're still chasing the Rockets. So what do you think about this in Texas rivalry thing of two Texas teams? And quite frankly, you could include the Thunder almost because that's the Oklahoma team rising to the top. So what are your thoughts on that, Coach?
Wow, that was a lot of questions in one question, but I'll try to answer it without responding with a question. And so you mentioned we are in third place. That means there's 2 teams ahead of us. We're not chasing Rockets. Okay. This isn't 4th of July. We're not kids anymore. We don't chase Rockets.
Those are fireworks, Coach. Fireworks.
If my memory serves me right, they were bottle rockets. Okay.
That's only if you put them in a bottle.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying then. So you don't chase Rockets, and we're not chasing Rockets now. Okay. We're not scientists over here in the Dallas Mavericks organization. Okay. Even Mark Cuban wasn't a scientist. All right.
We know that.
So, but I think we're gelling and and we're really making strides to take a step forward and really gel together like peanut butter sandwich. I'm sorry. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. But yeah.
So what do you attribute to this streak of what has happened to make your team start to kind of rise to the top?
Well, I told Ethel that the streak was coming and you don't want to go streaking because it's illegal. And, but, talking about the team is, when you win more than 3 games, it is a winning streak, but you're not streaking. And there's a difference there. And so,
One involves goals, one does not. So yes.
Yeah. So because, I really think we played these last 10 games with some testicular fortitude. You mentioned Bulls earlier. We have grabbed the Bulls by the horns and really taken control of our beef.
Okay. Well, so you would say you beefed it up then.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had chicken for dinner, so I did not beef it up, but Luca loves to beef it up. And, when me and him got beef, grill it up and eat it and have a delicious meal.
Okay. So speaking of Luca, so how's he doing this year? How you feeling about him? He has a tendency to get hurt. So what do you think?
Well, players get hurt and that happens. I don't think he's faking injuries or anything like that. I don't think he is soft. He is an MVP caliber player and we go as Luka goes. And, ultimately he's hurt and it makes me sad. And when I get sad, I cry on my pillow at night and it's a soft pillow. It's actually from mypillow.com. The guy I see on TV all the time. Now he has a body pillow. Did you see a body pillow? They have a Christmas special going on right now. I'm not officially endorsed by mypillow.com, but
we are not either. So when you talk about, being soft, what do you think, when it comes to the Eastern Conference, who do you think's going to give you guys a run? Is it going to be Cavaliers, Celtics, Magic? Who's it going to be?
Well, I don't know what they're going to run to. Normally they take the bus or a plane, but when they do get to their destination, hopefully safely and not get caught in any bad weather, I think all those teams are great teams and they have great coaches. Celtics kind of match my outfit today, so I'll go with the Celtics.
Okay. Well, yeah, because you guys are kind of green and they are too. So, yeah. Well, I think just as you guys go forward, I wish you the best of luck. You guys are 9-1 in your last 10. That's better than anybody else in the league right now. Well, I take that back. The Celtics are 9-1 in their last 10. Last 10, not in their last team, but their last 10. So I would say that's a pretty good streak.
Yeah. And, we're just trying to play well right now and, really come together and win this NBA Cup, the extremely pointless in-season tournament.
Did you just say the NBA Cup, Coach? It's not a cup. It's actually a round basketball. So
no, we are playing the in-season tournament right now, and it's called the Tournament for the NBA Cup. I'm not talking about the Larry O'Brien trophy that I've won when I was a player in 2011. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the NBA Cup, the thing LeBron won last year, and they hung a banner next to all those championships that Kobe, Shaq, Magic, and everyone else won, and LeBron thinks he did something. But we're trying to win it because we want to gel together, like I said earlier, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, perfectly proportioned with no crust, okay? And so ultimately...
You eat peanut butter and jelly with no crust?
Yeah, you cut the crust, and you can buy Uncrustables from the store. One of my assistant coaches was eating one earlier. He said it was delicious, but he did say it is a little too much peanut butter versus jelly. And I was like, well, that's also a lot of sugar if you have too much jelly. But I knew this lady growing up in Oakland who really made the best jam. And she got it from a Southern lady and uh,
Well, that's
Meridian.
really, from Southern California or Southern.
Well, no, dude, she lived in California in my neighborhood, and she got the recipe from this, like her cousin or auntie or uncle, or I don't know, but they lived in Meridian, Mississippi, which I heard is the butthole of America. And
Well, okay. Here we go with the buttholes again. I'm sorry, Coach. On that, we're going to have to end this interview because, the butthole is the end. So I
okay.
appreciate you being here. Congratulations on your streak. And you'll have one of those Uncrustables or Crustables or whatever the hell they're called. People have called me crusty before, but peanut butter and jelly.
You don't want to be crusty because
Coach, you got to go. You got to go, Coach.
I'm Coach J Kid. I'm Coach J Kid.
Yep. J Kid.
NBA champion.
Yep. Gotcha.
Coach
Well,
J
there
Kid.
you have it. There you have it. That was Coach Kid emulated from the Dallas Mavericks, who are on a nice run right now. 9-1 last 10. Like I said, the only other team that's equal to that is the Celtics. And so we'll see if they can continue that. Well, like I said, the Rockets are doing well, and the Rockets will do just fine. So,
man, that dude left and didn't even give me his autograph.
Did he give you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
No, he took all three of them.
Are you saying he didn't have the testicular fortitude to?
I don't know what that he was talking about. Like, I was over there just trying to take a dump.
Yeah, we did not need to hear about your bell in the bathroom. Dong, 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 ding dong.
Yeah, I did that on purpose. All right. Well, we're running a little behind, so we better squeeze in the Cowboys here because that's our flagship team up here unofficially because we're not sponsored by anyone. We were going to take a commercial break, but we have no commercials to play, so we're just going to keep going.
Well, here you go. I just dropped all my pins. Twisted tea for all you pussies out there. There you go.
Can't say it.
They're going to sue me over that, but that's okay. I have nothing for them to sue. Just dropped all my pins.
I'm going to have to edit that out. Holy crap. All right. Well, the Cowboys won 2 in a row. Probably the longest winning streak you can beat all year. Yes, you're wearing your bra, your Cowboys bra over there. And interesting questions that I have for you. Can they win out? And 2, does making the playoffs, if they win out, or missing the playoffs by a game or so getting close, save Mike McCarthy's job, in your opinion?
Can they win out? Of course they can win out. Anybody can win out. Now, do I think they will? They still have to play the Eagles in Philadelphia. That's going to be an extremely tough game. But like I said, when it's a rivalry game, he can throw the records out. And the Commanders have to come to town. Can they win out? Yes, they can. So
actually, only seen winning 1 out of the last, personally.
Against the Panthers?
Yep.
You don't think they're going to beat the Bengals?
I think the Bengals scored too many points. I don't think our offense with Cooper Rush and a lack of explosiveness can keep up with the Bengals. And ultimately, I think we lose. This is preluding my pick, but I think we're going to lose the Bengals probably 35-38 to 21-ish, somewhere around there. So I just don't think our offense can keep up with them. So, but I see him win the Panthers game. I do think if the miracle happens that they win out and make the playoffs, I think McCarthy comes back because Dak gave McCarthy a pretty glowing endorsement this week, if you didn't hear that. So I think Dak is still a believer in McCarthy, but I do think the Cowboys have to think about, they got to give something to their fan base.
Or
And
do we think this is all McCarthy? I don't think it's all McCarthy. I think it falls on the guy named JJ. That's who I think it falls on.
matter of fact,
So
let's talk JJ.
let me see. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm all in. We are all in, and I
You're still
told you
on it.
I'm all in because I told you we are going to make the playoffs, and I like our team. We got 5 games left. 5. And the fact is, we're going to win all them games.
Jared, I really think. Have you been drinking? Have you been drinking some of that twisted tea?
I'm always drinking. That's my privilege. I'm a billionaire. I can drink it when I want to.
Well,
Now,
as a billionaire, how come you won't spend any money in the off season to help this team? That's a moot point. Are you going to make a change if are you going to fire Mike McCarthy no matter what happens at the end of the season?
I love my coach. My coach, he's the best. He's got it, and he knows what he's doing. I like our people, I like our guys, and I like our coach. So I'm not gonna say we're gonna move on. Now I need to see something because I know we're all disappointed. So please still come to the game, still buy the jerseys.
Jared, stop putting your merchandise, dude. Like, is that the brand speaks for itself? Are you going to make them? Or you say you love them? You say you need to see something. What do you need to see from McCarthy? By the way, there's a rat walking around behind you.
It's a dog, is what it is, and it's. Let me just put it this way: if our coach wins, he wins. If our coach loses, he loses. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it. We're all in. We're gonna win the next 5 games. We're gonna be in the playoff. It's our year. It's our year.
All right, Jared. Jared, you're talking nonsense. Obviously, you were drinking.
Nonsense.
Yes, you were drinking before you came on the show. All right. Need you to not do that.
Well, I might have been drinking, but it's your show. I can come on drinking, and I'm fine. So bottom line is,
just avoid those
if
gate agents. Right?
we win, we win. If we lose, we lose.
You said that already. All right, Jerry, you started to repeat yourself. Go have another drink. Go have another drink.
Hey, Steve, fix me up another meal, please. Thank you, sir. To get these damn dogs out of my office.
Oh man,
All
Jerry,
right. I'm back. Yes.
Oh man,
There's a dog right here.
is that Donkey?
No, this is Phoebe. Girl.
The pup.
New one.
All right. Well, let's knock out our picks. I got them that I got to take care of after this. So we both went, like I mentioned earlier, both went 4-1. Maybe you should use us for your picks. So hopefully you got 3 wild cards because I believe the Commanders are on a bye this week. We did not talk about the games we had or we were picking, so we may have a couple of the same wild cards. But Saints at Giants, do I even got to ask?
The Giants are going to win that game. That's my upset.
Oh, wow.
The Giants are going to win that game.
Apparently I needed to ask. All right, I'm taking the Saints. All right, Bengals and Dallas. You already got my pick. I'm going Bengals. Who you got?
I'm going with Cowboys. We're getting D-Law back this week.
Yeah. Goody. He helps the defense. He ain't helping the offense. Panthers at the Eagles.
As much as I hate to say it, the Eagles are going to win that game.
I got the Eagles as well. My first wild card is the Chargers going into Arrowhead and beating the non-MVP Chiefs.
LA Superchargers. Okay, my first one. We know who it is. Playing in the division. Vikings. over the Falcons.
Solid. I've left that one purposely for you. All right. And then my next wild card, Packers at Detroit. I'm taking Detroit. And
Well, way to go out on a limb, especially since they're winning right now.
Are they?
Yes.
I don't have it. So
Yeah.
I didn't even realize they played tonight.
Yes, they are.
And then my last one is Seahawks at Arizona. I'm taking the Seahawks.
All right. Well, I'm still riding the Baker Mayfield train. I think the Buccaneers are going to beat the Raiders. And then I'm going to take, even though coaching changes happened and things went bad, I still think the Bears are going to beat the 49ers because I think the 49ers are just in disarray.
They're pretty beat up.
Sure.
So I think Purdy's still out. McCaffrey got hurt again. Craziness. They've just been ravaged for injuries. So they're definitely the same old 49ers.
But mark my words, the Giants are going to get a win this week.
Oh, man, you are insane. All right.
That's right.
Okay. I got a beef I got to take care of because I ain't running for this. Last week, I talked about parents planning vacations during their school athletic season. So Mr. Chris _142 on TikTok. Yeah, I'm calling you out, homie. You commented talking about the summer and saying you're a former coach and now a parent and don't be complaining. Look, dude, if you're going to comment, understand what the hell I'm saying. Okay? These kids and every kid on the team and year round, what we ask high school athletes to do, it's not like when we were in high school. And I don't know how old you are, dude. I'm 38. I went to school in the early 2000s. There was no 8-hour rule. We had 3-a-days when I played basketball in Taft, Texas. We practiced before school, during school, and after school. That's probably why there's an 8-hour rule now, because of Julio Gonzalez at Taft High School in 03-04. Okay? All right. We ask a lot of these kids, and then you take them away and affect the team negatively during their season. I'm not going to say any particular situation. It's going to be really hard for me not to say this, but currently dealing with a situation already for next year at my school. Okay. Like it parents nowadays, and we want to complain about kids all the time, but parents these days, you raised them. Okay. And then we want to complain that they do this and they get enabled so much more. The dude sitting across from me right here would have never let me miss practice. There was no vacations during the season. Okay. There was no, oh, you're tired, you stayed up too late. Okay, you can take today off of school. Oh, will you have a doctor's appointment? We'll schedule it during, basketball practice after school. No, you took care of that shit on your own and you worked around it because you made a commitment. Your kid made a commitment, and let them follow that commitment. If you can't commit, take your ass out of athletics or theater or whatever it is. Everything in today's high school, it's almost like a second job. Okay. And it's not just sports. My little sister did theater. The amount of hours she put into theater was insane. And there's no rules governing that. Okay. They would practice. They'd be at the school till 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. It was insane. Okay. But before you comment and before you come at me, understand what I'm saying. Okay. That's all I'm asking you to do. Chris _142. All right. And you said you're a former coach. The fact that you don't understand what I'm saying is probably why you're a former coach, homie. All right. That's what I'm going to say. Any dude who can create an AAU team can say they're a coach. I've been grinding at this for 15 years. I've been a head coach. I've been in multiple places and I've been at the top level. I've been very successful. And I don't say that to look at me, but to be successful, you need your players there because of the work they put in, and their teammates deserve them to be there. It's not for me. It's not for the coach. It's for the program and the community, and setting a certain standard about yourself and how you're raising your athlete. All right. So y'all can comment. You can hate on me. I'll go to battle with every single one of y'all on this subject, because do not enable your kid to make excuses and not be present for something they committed to. If you don't want to commit to it, take your ass and be a PE all-star.
Okay. Well, how do you really feel? Okay, so I'm going to throw in just a really quick pet peeve. Speaking of coaches, in-game coach interviews. Why do we do these? Do you learn a damn thing from them? Because they come out, the lady comes up, and it's usually a lady, very nice little lady, goes up, "Hey, coach, why are you guys losing right now?" "Well, because we suck." "Any other questions?" "I got to get to halftime and yell at my team." "Okay, thank you, coach." I mean, why in-game interviews with coaches? And okay, halftime, I'm okay with the one at halftime, but now they're doing it every quarter. It's ridiculous.
What's worse is now in baseball, they're doing it with players.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's because you want that fan experience, the inside knowledge.
It's not freaking NASCAR where you want to listen to the damn radio. It's a game.
I'm pretty much with you on this one. All right.
By
the way, we want to talk about equal opportunity in today's world. I've never seen a male sideline reporter, by the way. All right. They're all attractive females. A little sexism there.
Well,
maybe.
There was some way back in the day, but
start controversy up there. All right, y'all. We got to go, though. All right. So, love y'all. Peace. Appreciate y'all listening. We are out.